Welcome to First Things First. I'm Ebony K. Williams. That's Hall of Famer Chris Carter. Doug Gottlieb over here. Sorry. Thought you were Nick, right?
Filling in for Nick.
Filling in for Nick, right? I wanted to say, of course.
Filling in.
That's why.
You did. I didn't really recognize him.
And all week. We're finishing out this week with you guys both being co-hosts. It's been a great week. I really appreciate it. You know, it's all part of the family. We're all doing our thing.
This has been so much fun. Yes. So much fun. Thank you for having me.
Good. And because of my Vikings and also my high school team, the Middletown Middies was purple.
Chris Carter.
Ebony represents Purple Rain today.
Minnesota
right.
Vikings.
Let's do this.
Purple for CC.
Let's give the people what
We're going to start this morning with the Lakers. Now, after months of drama, right, exactly, involving Lonzo Ball's father, Magic Johnson says, well, he's got no regrets that he drafted the point guard second overall. Magic then went on to say, quote, things are going to work out for the Lakers and for Lonzo. As for Lonzo and his dad, well, he says, quote, I always just play and he always talks. It's been the same way. Chris Carter, can the Lakers still build their future around Lonzo Ball, given that so much drama is always going to be present as long as his dad's around?
As far as the future, that is a tremendous expectation. I know when Magic Johnson drafted him, he talked about and made reference to the jerseys and the rafters, the potentially Lonzo being one of those players, and tremendous expectations. Lonzo's very, very fortunate that he's at the Lakers at this time with Magic Johnson, because is there another better person as an executive, as an entrepreneur? Doug, you've been knowing Magic for years. If you were drafted by the Lakers as a big guard, Magic's trying to cut his teeth, you know, as running the basketball operation. So he's very, very fortunate. I believe Magic's going to be very patient with him. I also believe because Magic, and I know Magic and his background in dealing with a lot of different things, like he's not totally shocked by LeVar Ball. Like, he's seen situations. It's not the best situation, but I believe that Magic believes in the relationship he has with Lonzo. He believes in Lonzo's skill. I do believe it's gonna take some time. So when you're talking about making him the face of the franchise or building around him, Magic's already said he's going big game hunting. Yeah. When he says he's going big game hunting, that means he's going with his wallet and he's going with the future of the team, that being a 3 to 6 year window. So it's hard to say Lonzo will be part of the future with the Lakers, but you have to be careful because as a player and as an asset of the Lakers, how much are you worth if your family is always going to be a distraction? So in their evaluation of the player now, you really have to evaluate his family going forward, and I believe that can be problematic.
There's so much good stuff in what you said. Let's start with the evaluation of Lonzo this far in, okay?
Yep.
But he's a better kid than they possibly thought they could have gotten. There are no marks against him as a human being. Yes. On the other hand, the fact that he is still not willing to put his dad in place and say, Dad, be a dad, okay? And if you want big baller brand, but you cannot talk about my team because this is my team. And it will never be his team until he's able to put his dad in place. Now, Chris also pointed out what is obvious, and they're not being coy about. They're going to try and get superstars because they don't think they have a superstar in the building, right? If they did, they wouldn't be going out looking for more superstars.
They think they have a couple promising players in Ball and Ingram.
And in Kuzma.
Yes, you know, yeah, absolutely.
Right, so you have three, and then Josh Hart. Like, that's the core that they want to build around. And frankly, Julius Randle has kind of saved himself from execution, if you will. Everyone thought he'd be playing elsewhere. He's bought into what they want to do. He probably hangs around at the end of this year. So now you're starting to kind of build a core. You go out and you get a couple of stars. So to answer your question, can they build around him? No. But can he be very effective? Can he be a star Laker point guard for years to come? Absolutely. He's got to change his shot. He's got to change his body. Remember, he's never played pick-and-roll basketball. He's never played real defense. And when he was healthy, he was starting to make strides into being a leader. But the thing that he's missing most is the thing that quarterbacks have, point guards got to have. You have to be a verbal leader. Yes, you got to lead by example. Yes, you got to be a hard worker. You got to know where everybody's. You have to be accountable. You have to be all these things. But you have to be the face of your team, the voice of your team. There is no place for a meek voice running an NBA franchise at point guard. And right now, he's been unwilling to step up, whether it's on the court or off the court, putting his dad in place.
Let me ask you both this, both having played at the professional level and being on just a million teams, high school, college, what other? I know that LeVar Ball is not the first loudmouth dad y'all have seen, right? Have either of you ever seen an experience where a very quality player was ultimately undermined in the maximum ability they could have gotten to because their father was such a liability.
Right. I think that we've seen a lot of instances that there's a lot of parking lot dads, there's a lot of mothers and dads that lead to the detriment. But most of the time, it revolves around the kid either doesn't have the love for the sport or the kid doesn't have the ability to be an elite player. And eventually, when you go through the sifter in life, it typically happens when the kid is between 8 to 12. That's the first sifter. Then between 12 and 16, you start to see people drop off in the sport. When you get to the elite level, there's still a sifter going on. So now is he going to be able to get through that? Is he going to be able to be a verbal leader? Is he going to change his shot? Because all these things, see, I still think they can build around him, but it's going to be years from now. Right. Say we get these two superstars. Why can't he be part of the mix that wins a championship? And when these two superstars move on,
his team.
When he's 24, 25, he's ready to be everything that the Lakers, that Magic Johnson, because we can't expect Lonzo to do the Magic Johnson. Magic was at a different stage in his life. He was a totally different athlete. The NBA had never seen 6'9", and they also had the captain, the MVP of the NBA, and Kareem on the team. So they're in totally different situations. It's hard to now put the franchise around a guard.
Well, I don't know if it's hard to put around a guard. It's hard to put around him as a guard, right? Because he's not a good shooter. He can't shoot off the dribble the way he shoots the basketball, and he's not a great athlete. Now, he's a good rebounder. He's obviously a very good passer, but unless he learns to finish, it doesn't really, because nobody's going to help. They're going to make him finish in lanes. So there's a lot of work to be done before he can ever be that guy. To answer your question, no, I don't think we've ever seen. This is like, it's a combination of the Kardashians and Trump. Right, where you say crazy stuff, and everybody says, I'm not going to pay attention to it, I'm not going to pay attention to it, and we can't help ourselves.
It's distracting.
It's like, well, it's like for the media, for us, it's like catnip, right? We're like, I'm not going to go after the catnip, I'm not going to, but then we kind of dig back in. Like, for example, his latest statement was to a Lithuanian journalist, because no American journalists are currently covering him.
No.
But of course, we buy in, we follow on Twitter, and we start talking about it, was at the end of year 3, if the other two Ball boys aren't part of the Lakers, Lonzo's not going to re-sign. Well, I mean, the fact that LeVar doesn't even know they have him under contract for 4 years.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
He didn't read the fine print.
I understand. Yeah. So those of us who know, I mean, all of us know, we're like, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. On the other hand, most people don't know, and they start reacting, and now the Lakers' lack of reaction, they're blowing it off. It'll go away, which is smart. The problem is, at some point, Lonzo, I thought Lonzo had a misstep when LeVar called out Luke Walton. Okay? In that you don't say, I can play for anybody. You say, Luke Walton is my coach. Yes. I want to play for Luke Walton.
He's got to clarify that. But I push back a little bit, Doug, in the sense.
That's the pattern, though, that's growing, is that he won't say anything.
I understand, but I also understand that's a very fragile relationship, it looks like to me on the outside looking in, right, between him and his father. And he's 20 years old, but as Chris Carter said earlier this week, just because you're 20 doesn't mean you're necessarily grown. And I think for Lonzo, he's still coming into that leadership that you're talking about, which I totally agree, Doug,
you are completely correct, by the way, when what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
he's got to get there. I agree with you.
He has to get there because you have to own the locker room.
Sure.
Okay, you have to own the locker room.
You can't own your own family institution in that way. It's hard to lead a whole team.
I mean, this is not a normal job. This is not the normal workplace.
Sure.
I mean, in certain workplaces, your parents can say whatever they want to. It's not going to have an effect.
Yeah.
But what's going to have an effect is on your teammates and on the front office when they have sat down with you and supposedly came to an understanding of how we're going to approach this. Like, this is a billion-dollar business. This is not the AAU circuit. Like, this is not the high school where you can manipulate and be able to control things. This is one of the richest sports institutions that we've ever seen.
This is the second winningest all-time NBA franchise.
I mean, I would just say
16 NBA titles. You have Jerry West. You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You got George freaking Mikan played for, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal. But here's the point that you made, okay? And it's a really, really good one, okay? It's the Los Angeles Lakers. And it's not just that it's noise. It's that they've told LeVar several times, just don't talk about the Lakers. You want to talk about the shoes? Great.
Yeah.
Want to talk about the other two? Great. Don't talk about the Lakers.
Yeah.
And he continues to violate the one thing they asked him to do. And when it becomes a problem, that's when Lonzo has to step in and at some point become a man saying, I'm a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. My father doesn't speak for me. And from now on, ask me the questions, don't ask him the questions.
I think he's got to do that, absolutely. As difficult as that has been for him, if he doesn't do it, it will undermine him, I think, in the long run.
Right.
And it will affect the free agents who's going to come to Los Angeles.
Great point.
This is just a built-in liability, and that's, something that every team's going to consider. But coming up, how badly do the Steelers need Le'Veon Bell? That's next on First Things First.
Steelers not going anywhere without L. Bell.